Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of premiership players and past AFL players have passed away in the last 12 months. Very, very recently, Ted Lehane, Essendon great, Windy Hill, Collingwood great, and Robbie Flower, Melbourne great, have passed away. Could I ask you please to stand for 1 minute and while we recognise our past players and the great contribution they have made to VFL and AFL. Thank you. May I welcome you all to this, the 15th annual Stamp launch dinner. And I wish to pass the thanks of myself and the committee, the Australia Post representatives with us tonight. Without the support of Australia Post, these stamp sheets could not be produced. So Australia Post, thank you so much. It's just been fantastic, the support that we've enjoyed for 15 years.
Ken Turner. So Ken, if you can come forward, together with Melbourne's 1960 Ruckman man. Len, if you come forward. And St Kilda's utility player in the 1966 winning premiership team, Kevin Billing. Kevin. So we'll have three up at a time, and you're in for some entertaining comments. Please come forward, Len. Take a seat. And it's customary with us Collingwood people, we'll go first. Ken, if you take the microphone, please. Ken, you were nominated Best Players for the Magpies on that big day. Who was your opponent?
Oh, I can't say. I promised him I wouldn't mention it.
Come on now, give him a big sir.
Well, where's he gone?
There he is.
It was my good friend Brian Dixon, but I must say, over the years, I think we were probably 50-50. He beat me on a few occasions, and I was just lucky on that day. And you know, when the luck goes your way, well, you've got to make the most of it.
Please.
You had the whole ball in your hand, you sat there in the cold, and believe it or not, in the second to 75, 3 weeks early, I tore the quad. I don't care if he matches, I don't like the draws we get. But I still follow St Kilda. I go down to occasionally down to see if you watch a train, and sometimes I'm the only one there.
I was in an apprenticeship. I came from Mildura originally, and I sort of wanted to finish the time, and that's why probably a year late getting there, but sort of got there at the right time.
Tassie said, oh geez, I should only kick one goal too. I said, oh yeah, why is that? He said, oh, the ball came down. He said I had long sleeves on, it was a very wet day, and he went for a chest mark and it fell out.
Enjoy your night, well recognised with the stamps, and may you go on for many, many years yet. Thank you very much.
Yesterday, Ian McKenzie. Oh, really? We went up to the Russians downtown.
I have the honour to present the Jack Collins Medal to the leading goal kicker in one of the memorable grand finals, the 2010 drawn grand final. Before I present the medal to Travis, I'll just briefly give you a quick snapshot of the rationale behind the medal. My father, Jack Collins, he played with Footscray in the 50s. He won the goal kicking on 5 occasions, best and fairest twice. He won the VFL goal kicking in 54 and 57. He was one of the only players in the history of the game to hold both the goal kicking medal and the Coleman medal. The goal kicking medal was renamed the Coleman medal in 57, and all players were given a medal retrospective. Congratulations, Travis, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. This is in recognition of your fantastic efforts on that day, and no doubt they were two of the most important goals of your career, because had they not have been goals, had they have been points, we may not have been talking about the premiership the following week. But
a bit upsetting. A lot of players had to rearrange their off-season, but no, I'm very honoured to come back and to say I'm a premiership player. It's fantastic. And 12 months later, we came back and we lost to Geelong, so it was very disappointing. In 2 years, we had to play in 3 grand finals, a draw, a win and a loss. So not many people can say that, but also saying it, I'm trying to chase another one.
Thank you, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, just to clarify, it was, I think the Ron Barassi medal was has been struck for being the premiership captain in a particular year. And in 1965, I had the great privilege and good fortune to be the captain of the Essendon side. We had a great bunch of blokes who peaked at the right time, and we won the grand final, and it's been a wonderful part of my life. Terry, could you come up and all? Great delight presenting.
Good to see you, young.
Thank you, Terry. I'm glad you said young Terry. I happen to hold the honour of being the oldest living Essendon premiership captain, and I'm doing my darndest to keep that honour.
Thanks, Ron, for the medal. You know, it's a great thing. I think probably you had a fair bit to do with it, Kenny. Yeah, I remember the old antidote you used to come up with there, because back when we played, it was tremendous back in those days.
Well, officially, his name, I want to talk about this because his name is Max, but officially his full name is Jared, or his first name is Jared. Played in a couple of premierships with Geelong. He played forward, he played defence, he played midfielder. Great player, Max Rook. Where is he, Maxie? Come on up. I was told he was here. He's still on the highway. He's still on the highway from Geelong. Is that right? Okay, good on you, Max. Thanks very much. Have a great time. Good to see you. Thank you. Now this fella was involved in the premiership with North Melbourne. He was involved in running the place in 1977 to 1980. Of course, was involved in the premiership in 1977. But it's Lloyd Hollyoak. Invite him up here. Where are you? There you got to be here, Lloyd. There you are. Thank you. And you're going to get up on this too, aren't you? Bertie, you said you're going to get involved in this one, eh? Okay, good. So Johnny Bird's going to be up here. He needs no introduction. And of course, we got a bit of a Geelong flavour. Bloke from Terang only played 36 games for the Cats, but played in their 1963 premiership. What about that? Took in his first year in 1963. Ian Scott, welcome him up here. Where are you, sir? Good. I'm going to get you up here soon too, sir.
That's all right.
All right, you okay?
Leave to John, you're not in charge.
Okay. So, now we've got a microphone for these gentlemen. There we go.
North Melbourne Football Club. I just shook my head when I got my first night on committee. But going on, it was when Alan Aylett, it was just a rabble, North Melbourne, and one night Alan tapped me on the shoulder, and Albert Mantello, and we walked out of the committee meeting. And we said, what are we going to do now? And I said to Alan, well, there's only one thing. You've got to become the president of the club or the coach. And he said, I want to be both. I said, you can't be both, you've got to pick one or the other. And thankfully he became the president and turned the club entirely around, and was most prominent in our success through 75 and 76, and he left at the end of the 76 and I took over in 77.
And that was the drawn grand final year?
That was the drawn grand final.
So as running the club, how did you see that? How did you feel? What was those last moments like?
Well, the tied grand final, everybody and myself and everybody sitting around, we were just absolutely stunned, and it was just a weird sensation. You just couldn't work out what was going on. But anyhow, Horace got to work and the committee got to work, and 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock the next morning on the Sunday we started to plan for the following Saturday, and it proved out successful.
And you came from Terang?
Yeah, from Terang, but I went to Collingwood first.
Yeah, we went to Collingwood. I'm not trying to mention Collingwood here, okay? We've got at least three Collingwood people in the back corner. We got them here. How are you, David? Good to see you, mate. Excellent to see you. Good on you. What do you think of Collingwood? Your time at Collingwood?
I thought they were a good club.
Good club?
But they never gave me a go though.
They never gave you a go. They're nice and loud on that microphone, a bit straighter, yes. And so you get to Geelong?
So then, we were down in the Western District. The old man had a property down there. I was with the Lloyd boys and John Devine. They were all Western District boys. And they said, come to Geelong, I'll get a go. Which I did. And lucky enough, halfway through the season, or nearly 2/3 of the way through the season, I was playing twos. And saw old Terry Callan had a bit of a mishap with his injury. And Wolf said, well, that's got you wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I make these presentations on behalf of the Premiership players, please thank both Lloyd and Ian for coming here tonight. One of the bravest men I've ever met in my life. Just over 12 months ago, John had a massive stroke, and it was feared for his life and mobility and so forth. And so many Essendon people were very, very interested in John and his health. And he's here tonight, and his daughter Sherwood is bringing him forward, and it's just fantastic to see him. Now, I know there are many Essendon people here that would love to say hello to John, which no doubt you can. His speech is not so good at the moment, but certainly he knows everything you're saying to him. And John, it's absolutely fantastic to see you here. Essendon loved you. At one stage, I remember as a kid growing up, he's a bit older than me, and John, it's just fantastic to have you here tonight. And on behalf of the Premiership Players Club, we would like to present you with a footy that's been signed by all of your teammates from back 57, 59 and on.
What he would like to say is thank you to Johnny Burt and the Premiership Players Club, also to Barry Capuano and the Past Players Association, who have been incredibly supportive of Dad all through the last year of his recovery. We will see him back next year. Go Bombers.
Eve's of Buckingham, and her uncle was Harold Buckingham, that many of the Essendon people here would know. And just because of the fantastic job you've done for the Essendon Football Club the last 12 months, we'd like to present you with these flowers.
Thank you very much. That's fantastic. I just love it. And actually, I do want to say thank you to everybody that's helped John. It's made such a difference to him, knowing people that care for him and love him doing things, and so it puts a smile on his face every day when someone rings just out of the blue and says, I'm Reggie Burgess, or I'm Kenny Fraser, or I'm whoever, and it puts such a smile on his face, and it's a joy to see. And with people like that, and John can't even answer them, you have no idea the joy that you give John. So thanks everybody.
Wedding anniversary yesterday too. I'd like to ask Jackie Mitchell, would you come forward please?
Good evening everyone, my name's Jackie Mitchell. I'm the very proud daughter of Huey Mitchell, who we all know and is celebrating a very special occasion in 2 days from now. He turns 80, which is a shock, I know, to many of you, because he's the fittest 80-year-old ever. I think Dad, I still think of you as 50. He still plays 6 sets of tennis a week. He's up and down from Geelong to Melbourne all the time. So on behalf of our family, I just wanted to thank everyone for their support of Dad over the years, and also to acknowledge you as Dad's extended family.
There's a gentleman here tonight by the name of David Jenkins, who's been very beneficial to our club and the association.
some 3 years ago, we had 35 paintings done of great players of Essendon. This gentleman has bought 10 of those paintings and donated 8 back to players individually. And tonight it's my great pleasure to be able to say to Huey, on behalf of David Jenkins, he is donating this painting of Huey as part of his 80th birthday.
Yeah, thanks very much, Barry, and it's a great honour to receive that, and the person concerned, I really appreciate it. Jackie, my daughter, thanks very much for those lovely words, Jack. You really got into me tonight, because I never knew you were coming, and all the people on that table. It was a big surprise for me, and I'm very grateful.
I'd like to introduce up here on stage, if I can, Daryl Gerlach. Are you here, Dad? And Paul Doran. Paul, if you're there, mate. Paul and Russell Blue. If the three of you guys are in the room, I'd like to have you come up on stage and we'll just have a quick chat. First of all, Daryl, welcome on stage, mate. Look, if people don't realise that you're a back pocket specialist, mate, were you, back in the good old days?
Yeah, it started off in the centre and soon got to move to the back pocket.
Yeah, weren't quick enough, mate, or what, didn't read the game well enough, or?
Oh no, just there was opportunity. Like Dave Shaw was there, got injured, and I got the opportunity of slotting in there, and David had his strength in becoming a ruck rover. So it was circumstantial, and as a lot of players know, that's what happens. You've got to be given the opportunity and then make the most of it.
But just to wind the clock back a little bit, just as Simon said before, how did it come about for you? How did you get introduced into Essendon? Did you follow them like because you're local, lad?
Yeah, I was a local boy, played in the EDFL, and if I can mention Huey Mitchell just for a second. As a 12-year-old, my dad introduced me, and I can remember, Huey, that you running off the ground at Richmond and going up there and shaking your hand, and just after that I got a photograph from Huey which had on it to Daryl, best wishes and all. So Huey and I have known one another since I was 12 years old.
Now was it for you, mate, that you got your opportunity? Did you ever play against Daryl in local footy, or Russell?
No, he's only born.
He was only pup. It looked like that. Yeah, he looked a bit older, didn't he? But how was it for you, mate?
Well, I came straight from college and I played.
College? You one of these?
And I went to the Thirds in 1957 and I ended up with captain in the Thirds in 1958. And I played a few games in the twos and kicked a few goals, and they took me in to replace Ron Evans when he'd gone interstate. So they put me at full forward and I kicked 5 goals, and that was the last time that they tried me at full forward, because Ron Evans came back, champion that he was, and he took over the full forward role again. And the following year, when Ron was out of form a bit, we went to Western Australia and they played me at full forward again for the second time. And I kicked 2 goals, 12 and 2 out of bounds against John Towner.
Really pleased to say it's great to see John Towner here tonight, because when he was playing with the Ascot Youth Centre, I used to run the boundary for him. And that was with John and Dooker, as we knew him in those days. And I think the only person that frightened him was my old man, who used to be the team manager.
And who was the coach at the time?
Have control of the microphone. That was at the end of each quarter, because Mike had to be the one to finish the quarter, and particularly at the end of the game. Yeah. Mike had to call the finish of the game because his ego wouldn't let him do anything else.
And then 2 premierships with North Melbourne. Okay, which one's the highlight? Which of those is the highlight?
Oh, well, I think that we're in the crowd that all the boys here would know that you only just play really to playing finals, hopefully, and then secondly to try to get to the grand final, and then obviously the grand final is the ultimate.
Now, you're in the North Melbourne team this century, you're also in the Indigenous team this century,
yes.
And I reckon if you put those two together, if you were in the North Melbourne Indigenous team this century, the Cracker brothers would be really disappointed because they couldn't be first row, but that'd be fair.
No, I coach Jim and Phil, and they're both fantastic players.
Now, the whole move, because you're an icon to Western Australian football, and so you come to Melbourne with high expectations from us. High expectations. How do you handle it? How did you handle it?
In fact, I was talking to Lloyd only earlier. I really only came to Victoria. I mean, to be quite frank, I mean, obviously I played all the best football in Western Australia. I was in the 20. But the thing was,
all right too,
but the thing was that Ron Joseph came and saw me, and he was like saying, you know, we're going to build this team and try to win North's first premiership. We haven't won a premiership for 50 years, and all of that. So I had a good talk to my wife, and we had a good talk to the two boys because we appreciated it was going to be a big move. And to be quite honest, that's all we ever thought about, was to really just come over here and help North Melbourne do what they wanted to do, which was win a premiership.
What about this one? You missed Hawthorn's 1989 grand final after you were suspended for striking Essendon's Andrew Manning.
Correct.
He didn't. He wasn't that. He was harmless, Andrew, wasn't he?
I was having a shit of a day.
No, we've never done that.
And I thought I better do something, and unfortunately I put an elbow in the back of his head.
Caught on video?
Well, Dermot belted everyone that day and got off at the tribunal, and I did one thing and got 3 weeks, so I was really going to touch unlucky. But anyway.
Look, that era though, I mean, you know, we had a great rivalry, but I'm amazed that Hawthorn just kept going and going and going. You know, like you got beat by us twice, 86 you come up again, and you just kept going and going. What a great era.
Yeah, look, I think, you know, I'm not, because I'm out here at Essendon, I don't come out here too often.
You try not to, yeah. I'm not seeing Hawthorn either, so it's okay.
Particularly that ground. I do like playing out there. I don't think anyone apart from you guys, but I mean, you had a fantastic side in 84 and 85 and were totally dominant, so I don't know what happened to Essendon after 85. I think there was a few injuries and things happened. We were fortunate. We played an era where you could get players from elsewhere, so we were able to secure Johnny Platten and Jason Dunstall.
I think I've been very fortunate to be successful in the sides that have been. We were lucky that we ended up in a couple of grand finals, but the Laconic side, well, yeah, I suppose I'm a bit laid back, and I was probably pretty lucky that I had to just could play footy, but as Sheed's always said, you're never going to win a grand final with a team full of Christians anyhow. So,
I like that one. And you had to get to you, then. That's right. And you had a motivation.
I think the thing I've been looking is to have fun as well. And it was great that, you know, when I first came to Essendon, more than half the size were school teachers, so they were boring as shit.
Don't worry, Ben, I got an education with you, don't worry about that. I got educated.
Well, you talk about Barry with his bike riding and running. Well, yeah, no, I still ride a bike too, Barry, but as long as it's got a motor on it.
Well done, Ian. Good on you, mate. Good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, can we just have a bit of shows here? We'll just keep things rolling along, and it's great to see a lot of the other past players in the room here this evening. But I'd like to welcome the stage now. Well, we got them already welcome. Right there, old mate? Yeah. Bloody good looking tie you got on. Bloody ripper. Well done, Billy boy. There we are, fellas. Welcome in. I might just get pass the mic over. Now, do you remember that day way back in 76, mate, out of Princess Park? You were playing on that curly-headed, bloody freckle-faced fella on half-ball length?
I sure do, Terry. Thanks for I thought, here we go, the old days, I thought it was a Waverley. It was a fairly new ground then.
Yeah.
Waverley, I reckon, was out there.
You reckon it was out there?
Yeah, I do. I remember.
You must have given me a rough time, mate. I've been dogged a few times.
No, remember vividly, because Crimo was out, Scotty was out at the side, and I was skipper for that day. So
Oh, yes.
it was a pretty important day for me, and I cranked you at the same time.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. So, mate, how's life been with you, mate, after retirement? Let us go past the footy for a second.
Yeah,
what are you doing? What are you doing with yourself?
Oh, everything. I'm a bit like Vanders. I certainly found life after the footy. I went and rode bikes and enduros for 5 or 6 years competitively. I found snowboarding, which you can never do when you're playing footy. I love water skiing. I found lots after footy, so I'm just still loving life. It's fantastic.
And you still keep in touch with all your teammates, obviously from your premiership times?
Yeah, we do. Hawthorn particularly is very good past players and bringing up. They do have a lot of reunions on those premierships, so a great club like that, we certainly keep in touch.
That was a highlight of my career, I guess.
And some of the memories, mate, where'd you line up that day? You're in the pivot?
Well, I was named in the pivot, probably started on the half-forward flank, playing in the centre area, forward. But we used to trick him a little bit back in those days. You talk about memories. I've got a lot of memories of this ground here.
Have you? It's great ground.
Oh, great ground. Windy Hill.
You're in the action all the time, mate.
I don't condone driving, but after one game out here at Windy Hill, we used to all come up to the social club, and I did have probably a few beers too many.
It's easy, mate.
Yeah, I know it's easy.
Good mood up here. We always had plenty of barmaids.
I did. I'm not a young bloke, only about 22 years of age, and I did jump in my car driving. I was pulled up just down the road with a carload of footballers and everything, and they said, listen, you're going to have to come down to the police station. We're going to have to wait for the main breathalyser to come around and breathalyse you. I said, oh, yeah, okay, not a problem.
Yeah.
So I go down to the police station. I'm not very happy at this stage, really packing it. And anyway, I said they stuck me in front of a fire, and the hotter I got, the drunker I felt. So I did this 2 or 3 times when the breathalyser came. Look, I was lucky enough. I only blew about .06, and they let me get away with it. So that was one memory. The other memory was breaking my ankle in the 1979 in the goal square. And the third memory was I played the last game at it. Retired after Windy Hill.
Mate, I came down from Maffra at the end of 1965. I was invited to play in a game at Carling's, I played a combined on the Latrobe Valley side.
Yep.
And I kicked 3 or 4 goals from centre half forward, and they said you better come down and play the next year. And I played about the first 4 or 5 games of the year, and then I ended up in hospital for 3 months. So I buggered up my back. I was in plaster for 3 months, just immobilised. And then the next year came along, 67, and went out to play a practice game. I jumped up at Ronnie Offertel's shoulders, landed on me bang again. They didn't even ask me whether I was hurt or whatever. They just took me straight back to hospital. They didn't want to take any risk with it.
What about Peter Daly? You were a runner-up to him several times, the best and fairest at South Adelaide.
Yeah, great player, Peter Daly. He played in the interstate game there once. I think Louis Collis was his opponent. And they moved Daly, South Australia, out of the ruck to centre half forward. He took 17 marks.
And John Earl. And just between these 3, playing and coaching record, there's over 1,000 games of senior experience on the stage. Gentlemen, welcome. These got the great Francis Berg. Now, again, mate, a bit of royalty up there. If I start to read out this, it's got a long list, Richmond team of the century, Jack Dye medal, Richmond captain, Richmond coach, Richmond, etc., etc. How are you going? How old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
About the same as yesterday.
Yes. No, one word though. Nice and close, because it's
67.
Because it's a bit scary for me. I'm only a young 56. I played on this man. Oh, sorry, he played on me, so I was in the forward line. But that Richmond era was a great era you played through. And then they lost it. There was all that time up into the 80s, and then we haven't had a premiership from Richmond. But your era was magnificent.
Well, it was, but I guess that we're on the improve, and it won't be very long, hopefully, before we actually experience it all again, Simon. But
that's very confident. I love their confidence. They've been saying that for 30 years.
Well, we'll be right sooner or later, won't we?
No, you will. Your memories of that time?
Oh, pretty well much the same as others, I guess. You know, a great mob of blokes, and we were coached by the great Tom Hafey for most of that time, particularly in the last 5. And so the only trouble is there's 17 other teams got the same idea as us. So that makes it a bit difficult, but I think that we've got basically a pretty young team, and they've recruited pretty well over the last couple of years and need to continue to do that. I actually think we just need another champion player.
Premiership player, you've had a long coaching career, still in the coaching game. What did you take from your playing experience that you could say, I could still use today as a coach, or I could still motivate players today as a coach?
Well, I suppose when you go through the coaches that you had, and for a while I had a few coaches, Des Rowe, Norm Smith, Jack Titus, and then the great Tommy Hafey came along, of course. I do think that subconsciously you were moulded by these people, and you take these things away with you, and perhaps add things that you think you can do yourself from your playing days. You know, and I know how Tommy Hafey trained us. I mean, we didn't have time to have a lot of fun.
It was a hard training.
We just ran, and then, you know, we'll just do another one drill. That won't take too long. And about 40 minutes later, he'd call us in to have the drink. So you went home. You didn't have time to have fun because you were trying to recover from the training session.
Well, is that where Kevin Sheedy got his time? Because Kevin Sheedy just used to, you know, just in case, if you're training well, keep training, and if in doubt, keep training. If you're not training well, keep training. Did you get that from Tom?
Well, I'm sure we all got that. We all moulded from that, you know, and Tommy, of course, was terrific for the Richmond Football Club. And there's just been so many wonderful, but like all clubs, I think, there are just so many wonderful people, and in football, looking ahead to what our great game is all about, and, you know, to look around here and to see everybody who's changed so much, and really, you're not bad blokes at all. It's just terrific.
Well, arch enemy's Richmond, now the arch enemy for me. This is bittersweet, Gavin, because you had a wonderful career, 246 games, but you played in the 1990 Premiership and beat us, and it was, yeah, I mean, we've got to respect for it, don't you? I mean, I know we can have a go at Collingwood, but glorious days on. Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, I still have nightmares. Funny enough, I still watch the game, but that's another story. You must have been the Collingwood faith. Hang on, let's start at the start. First game, round 1, 1987. Is this correct? You played your first game at Victoria Park. Is that right?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And what was that like? Because I've been there too, and it's a bit scary for people. But I've stood in the air. I reckon that's scary, but anyway.
Yeah, look, Vic Park was obviously our home, and we played that way most of the time. And unfortunately, at that time of my career at the start, when Lee Matthews took over, and we both threw 86 from Bobby Rose, and there was a group of us that played in the 19 Premiership in 1986, and he basically tried to bring us through the following year. So I think he played about 15 of us.
So, do you talk to me? Especially as a Collingwood player, you know, I know that we all got fanatics, but Collingwood fanatical following, you have to wear that Collingwood Premiership player. You can't get away from it. You have to wear that with a big badge and real pride, because it'll just keep coming up in conversation.
Look, it does, and I'm a bit like the other guys. You know, when they got it in 2010, it takes a little bit of the not enjoyment, I can't think
prestige,
of the word. A little bit of the prestige, because you're not the last ones anymore, but you know, it's my career and being involved at Collingwood that year was a fantastic.
Remember 17-4-10? 17 grand finalists for 10 premierships, 17 plus 4 plus 10 equals 31, which is Ron Bassey's number. Just thought I'd throw that one in for you. So what have we got? That's a beautiful collector's item there. We must have a Melbourne supporter there. What have we got? We got 300 anywhere? That's for the frame. These are all donated, they're all sold. You're getting them cheap. I got a 2 anywhere. We got a 200 anywhere, that'll pay for the frame. 200, I've taken one, you've got 2, I've got a 2, where's the 2, can I see the hand? 250 for the third and final time. Are we going? Anything? Oh, 300, thank you very much. 275, yeah, 725, 275, he's a smart man there, I can't get him. 275, I'll take it, 25 again to round it out. 275 going once, 275 going twice. Are you all done? Are you all sold? Going. Well done, Brian, you got that. That is worth twice as much at least. Well done, Brian.